in the wake of the Newtown killings that killed 20 children on Friday and 6 staff at the school, as well as the mother of the shooter. We go to another Newtown, Australia, the home of an Australian man who killed 35 people in 1996. Just 12 days after what became known as the Port Arthur Massacre, Australia's government responded by announcing a bipartisan deal to enact gun control measures. This in a country of hunters and gun lovers. The pact included agreements with state and local governments. Since the laws were passed for more than 15 years, there's not been a mass shooting in Australia. In a moment, we'll be joined by the woman who led the campaign to reform Australia's gun laws after the massacre. But first, I want to play a clip from 1996 of a man who survived the Port Arthur massacre and describe what he saw. This is Peter Crosswell speaking from his hospital bed shortly after the attack.
I leapt up from the table and walked towards the front door of the restaurant, and as I did, this guy walked in with long blonde hair and shot dead one guy that was sitting at the nearest table. He then proceeded to shoot everybody at that table. At that time, I jumped on top of the 2 women that I was with and landed on the floor, and I told them just to lay dead still. I could see the feet of the guy who had walked into the room with the gun, and he just proceeded to shoot everybody in the room. He walked through the room, past us, into the souvenir area where I heard more gunshots, and then he came back and shot at myself and the 2 ladies, and thankfully missed. That time he must have seen somebody that was still alive and walked towards that person who yelled out, "No, no." He then shot him. Another person who was also moving nearby was screaming, and he just walked up and shot her. He then walked back past us, and I thought he was going to kill us. But instead he walked to the door, hesitated for about 15 minutes, and then, 15 seconds perhaps, and reloaded his gun and went outside.
From Newtown to Newtown, what a horrific story. But the similarities in the countries, a country of gun lovers in the United States, hunters and gun lovers in Australia, yet this moment shattered all of that in Australia. Explain what happened afterwards.
Well, it was in Australia at the time was, as you said, a country, and it still is a country where hunting is an important activity. Australia wins Olympic medals in shooting. You know, in Australia there's a high premium placed on rugged masculinity, and it's a frontier country, and so it has some similarities with the US. And also another similarity was that we had in the previous couple of decades occasionally mass shootings. About once a year we had a mass shooting, and on each occasion there was a lot of talk about the gun laws, and politicians, similar to here actually, avoiding the issue, saying, well, we need to look at family values and mental health and everything else, and basically being too frightened to do anything about the gun laws, because the gun lobby always threatened to punish electorally any party that did actually strengthen the laws. What happened in 96 was so shocking, and also the level of anger and dissatisfaction and frustration in the public was so high by then that really that was the tipping point for Australia. As you said, the Prime Minister exercised leadership. He called all the states together and said, we're going to fix this. And the laws were state laws, so we had a patchwork of different laws. Some states had stronger laws, but the states that had weaker laws undermined those with stronger laws. And what we got was a scheme of nationally uniform laws which set a much higher standard and included bans on assault weapons and some other measures, which basically meant that you can still own guns in Australia, but the system is just much more under control. And as a result, now 15 years later, we've not had a mass shooting since that time, and also gun deaths in general are about 50% lower than what they were, and that the evaluation of the laws shows that it's saving hundreds of lives each year, and also about $500 million a year in the economic costs of violence that's been avoided.